Mayor, at this time, I'd like to reschedule the approval of the minutes, item B, to the next meeting, to the May 5th meeting.
Okay. Any others? Anyone else have anything?
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Commission liaison reports and comments. Commissioner Byard?
Hello. On April 17th, I attended the Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council meeting. One big issue there took up most of the meeting. Something that's definitely affecting us here in the city of Lake Worth is the noise from train horns. Just so everyone knows, we are not the only city that is experiencing what many describe to be excessive noise from train horns. Now we sort of have something that's happening now and then something that's going to happen in the future that I think we all need to consider. There is a new type of train engine that's out there, and it is louder than the old train engine that was out there. The FEC did a study to show if the horn was within acceptable range. Their finding is that it was. Many municipalities would tend to disagree with them, including people here in Lake Worth. There is a quick fix, something that they could do would be to remove the number of bells. And of course, I'm not an engineer, so I don't quite understand how this works, but I'm imagining lots of little bells inside of this horn, and they're going to take some of them out and make the horn quieter. But we, as a municipality, would need to petition the FEC because currently they believe that they are operating within that range. It's great to go to a meeting like this and see so many municipalities sharing the same issues, getting along underneath the same umbrella, and looking for solutions to addressing these problems that sort of cross all dividing lines. So it's kind of a lovely experience. So we have that going on with the train horns now, and I think there are something like 29 new engines that are out there. So what's coming in the future is that we have this All Aboard Florida. It is this mass transit train, and they are going to have a station in downtown West Palm Beach near City Place. Those train engines will also incorporate this current horn, so things are only going to get louder as we move into the future. So as a city, I think we need to start planning for that, start writing ordinances and addressing our future in terms of this horn, because for many it's already too big an issue to handle. From what I gathered in the meeting, the MPO has already started to gather staff and funding to address some of these issues. And so if there is potential funding for us here in Lake Worth to change how our crossings work, which is one reason that we can't have a quiet zone here in Florida, if we could perhaps get that money through grants, through the MPO, I think we need to start looking into that because, again, things are only going to get worse as far as that goes. Just very quickly, there is a Florida Greenways project going on. Just wanted to say that Lake Worth is abreast with other municipalities north and south in this state in terms of our initiatives to create new greenways and green spaces, bicycle-friendly spaces. So I was glad to hear that. And lastly, they did mention that there is going to be grant money available starting May 1st from the Florida Department of Economic Sustainability. Applications will be available May 1st, and then we have 30 days to apply. So I would encourage the city to see if we are a potential candidate for that funding and make an application. And I'm also the liaison for the Sister City Board, but they do not currently meet. So thank you very much.
Commissioner Mercer?
Yeah, a lot going on. We have the junior lifeguard camp coming up July 1st through the 29th. I want to take a moment and thank the lifeguards and all the people that showed up for the beach cleanup this weekend. They picked up a huge amount of garbage. They also did a deep dive, so they got it out of the ocean too. Great turnout for that. We've got a new business coming to town. El Bodegon is coming into the old Publix, where the Latino market, Sabor was. So that'll be huge for us, and if you've never been to El Bodegon, they offer a lot of really cool things that you don't see in Publix. So I'm looking forward to that. A couple things that we attended the Greenway ribbon cutting this week on the north end, which was huge and a great benefit for the school. We also attended this morning at Lakewood High School. We donated a $2,000 check with former Commissioner Nadine Burns, and that was money that came through Reggae Fest, so we donated a $2,000 check to the school there. Also something that came up this week that is really cool, the owner of Calero's took her staff, 15 people, and she did a walking tour of the downtown area with her staff, because a lot of times when you open a restaurant or you have a business, your staff is coming in from somewhere else, and they're not familiar with what's going on in town. So she walked her staff around to show them that we had a Starbucks, that we had downtown businesses. She went in and out of each business, highlighting exactly what those businesses offer. So when they were waiting on tables at Calero's, they could actually tell people why they should not only have lunch or dinner, but why they should stay in the city of Lake Worth or come back to shop. So I thought that was really cool that she did that. I'm happy to be the host and organizer for Earth Day again this year. It's a benefit for the children of Kiwanis. 100% goes to Kiwanis. And this year the tree board is on board again, and they will be giving out trees. Again, as a resident of the city of Lake Worth, you'll be able to get a free tree, first come, first serve. However, you do need documentation, photo ID, driver's license with your physical address in Lake Worth, or your utility bill. In partnership with that, there will be a bird walk leaving the actual plaza at 10 o'clock with Gail Silverblatt. She'll be escorting a tour down to Snook Islands for a bird walk. So bring your binoculars and join Gail for that. Kentucky Derby Day, 14th annual Derby Day at South Shores, May 2nd. And that is a fundraiser for one of our fun Bryant Park neighborhood associations. So get your hats ready and come out. This year they're doing something special with the kids, so they encourage you to bring your kids and come out and just have a fun day with the family. Coming up May 26th through the 30th is the city's Amnesty Week for bulk preparation for hurricane. So you can put as much yard debris that you want out that week. But remember, it's just yard. You can't put beds, you can't put furniture. It's really just preparation for hurricane. On that same note, 2015 free hurricane seminar. It's coming up Thursday, May 21st, 5 to 8:30 at the Beach Club. And it's featuring the meteorologist from Channel 25, Mike Lyons, is coming this year. Community cleanup. We're doing a community cleanup on May 30th on the west side with the CRA and Tropical Ridge and also Solid Waste Authority. So come out, join us for the cleanup. Moving on. I wanted to put a call out to our utility department and thank them for, in the utility bill this week, you'll see the preparation for mobile app. We've been trying up here to put a mobile app together for a long time. We had some pros and cons with getting it to work, but I think it's on track now, and it came out in your utility bill to encourage you to do a mobile app. There's multiple ways you can pay your bill, but a mobile app is the easiest way, so you can do that on your phone. We have Screen on the Green coming through the CRA. If you remember last year, we had a grant, a $2,000 grant that allowed us to do movies in the summertime, predominantly for the children. We're bringing that back. We actually did a GoFundMe because we didn't get the grant this year, and we had great community support in funding this. June 19th, we have Dolphin Tale. July 3rd, the Stand It. I think it has something to do with 4th of July, because we were trying to find a 4th of July movie. That is actually the Friday before the 4th of July event in Bryant Park. July 24th, Willy Wonka, and that's the original Willy Wonka. And then August 7th is Box Trolls. So we encourage everyone to come out with the families and post that on your Facebook and get that information out.
Thank you. Commissioner McCoy?
Thank you. I'll take a big breath. One, just to remind folks listening and in the audience that exactly a week from today, I believe, same time, same place, City Hall is the ITN, the public ITN meeting, is that not correct? 6 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so folks interested in hearing about the various proposals at the beach are welcome to come. As I understand, not public participation, but public listening, correct?
Correct.
It's the ITN meeting, you're jumping.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
What is IPN?
Oh, invitation to negotiate, it's like a request for proposals, but not. So the different process and was to bring in, my understanding, there are 3 entities that put in proposals of what might happen at the beach with, I only know the name of one of them, but I don't know the others. But that will be, I guess, the first time for us to hear that at a city meeting. Okay. I do have a question about that, but I mean, I don't know, I guess this is as good a place as any. Is, for my fellow commissioner, is there any way to allow public comment on that one, given the level of interest in that around the community?
We're not in control of that meeting. That's the ITN committee. I don't know what rules apply to the ITN. We're not running that meeting. That's the last meeting of the committee that's vetting all the proposals. So don't look at me because I'm not gonna be there and I don't run that meeting, so.
So who's running the meeting?
I'm sorry, we usually don't go back and forth between audience. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the legalese, I don't know what the rules are, Glenn.
Yeah, my understanding is the ITN committee is meeting to consider their proposals, make a recommendation to the commission. So the committee, I think their established rules are that the public can come and observe the process, but I don't think they're taking public comment at that point. Public comment, I believe, is gonna be at the commission meeting. I think you have a workshop where it's just a workshop, no decision to be made, and there'll be plenty of public comment at that point.
We made a decision at the last meeting that we discussed it, that the ITN committee vets all the different proposals and the ideas that they have. That committee makes a recommendation, just like the Electric Utility Advisory Board makes recommendations for things, or this one or that. They make recommendations, but they don't make a decision on anything. That decision has to be vetted publicly here, and we're gonna do it with a complete workshop. In fact, I even asked for extension from 2 minutes to 3 minutes for that workshop specifically, so that we can get a little bit of extra time or a little more questions. But that will be, no vote will be taken, I believe, on that first meeting that we're gonna have, which will just be a workshop, but public participation is welcome at that. That's where it's time for everyone to chime in. And then we make a decision on that at a later meeting. Is that correct? Okay, so yeah, they're putting together recommendations. No decisions have been made or anything until we actually hear the proposals. Because they've been reading privately and vetting the proposals. Now their meetings, I think, are public, are they?
Correct.
Okay, so then they're gonna bring us whatever it is that they have.
If I might request, and then I'll get on with my other comments. It is a meeting under the auspices of the city in one or another fashion. It's not a commission meeting, but it certainly is a city process. I mean, the city issued the invitation to negotiate, so presumably we have some degree of control over what happens. I would like to ask that we do allow public comment in some fashion, if that's possible.
Again, I'm not in control of that process, so.
As the ITN representative for this commission, from what I understood, the ITN process is to talk and to negotiate with the people that are bringing something to the table. We're still in those talks. It hasn't, the only reason it went public is we decided we wanted a little bit more information and we went past the ITN time as far as, the closed door sessions. From what I understand, we're still in negotiation with them, so
Right.
that's
I think
why.
that's the difficult part. I mean, you know, if you're negotiating with someone and taking public comment at the same time, the negotiations are probably gonna be somewhat disrupted and not productive. You know, again, the committee could, you know, adopt its own rules, and I think their rules so far were pretty clear that this is a time to discuss with the respondents, negotiate, discuss, ask questions back and forth. And I think they've established their processes, the public comment will be at the commission level. So certainly, I think your comments are gonna be relayed to the ITN committee, but from what I understand, they're pretty set on the process that they've been going through to come up with recommendations to the commission.
And I don't want to belabor this too much, but there certainly is a lot of interest in the community. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone here. In what happens at the beach, there's particularly more interest as some of the previous minutes and things have come out. Is there any way, if the ITN process itself cannot take public comment, is there any reason that I cannot add to the calendar a meeting that immediately follows that is, I don't know what you want to call it, a town hall meeting or whatever, that the folks, if anybody turns out, if nobody turns out, then we don't have to worry about it, but if people turn out, which I think would not be surprising, to give them a venue to make some comments, because I think we want to do our best to listen to what the community has to say. I mean, the ITN meeting can be a time for the proposers to state their piece, and we can have a separate meeting right after it that we're all here, or whoever's, I don't know if the commission's all here, but whoever wants to come, I guess is welcome to.
I'm confused. I thought that's what we discussed last time, was having the workshop where public comment was gonna be allowed and no vote would be taken, so that we would give a venue for people to talk about. I mean, that was what we talked about last time. I thought we already arranged that, to have a meeting so that
I do recognize that, but I'm
we need
also
a meeting on
mindful.
top of that meeting.
I'm mindful of the public's time commitments. I suspect, I could be wrong, in which case it's a non-issue, but if I'm right, that a lot of people are likely to turn out. This is the first public meeting of the ITN, there's been a lot of interest in it for months. I suspect a lot of people will come out. I don't think it's a very good idea to tell them that, it's nice that you came, but you can't say anything. So I'm suggesting maybe we accommodate, if it turns out a fair number of people show up, that we have a separate meeting right after it that is, call it whatever we want to call it, a town hall meeting or a commission meeting or a whatever meeting or a workshop, and let people make their comments and we take them in. So I'd like to propose adding that to our calendar right after the ITN meeting.
Commissioner Amoroso?
I too thought we had already set up a workshop for the public. I'm concerned that if you do it right after, if you're concerned with the people, you know, that could easily start at 9 o'clock at night. So, you know, I don't know that you're giving enough time to the people. We've noticed a workshop for the ITN where we will take public comment. And again, if the ITN meeting goes till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you're starting a new meeting, a workshop that could easily have, like you said, a lot of people that, you know, is that fair to keep mothers and children to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning? And can we go that late, you know, what?
Well, I guess the best analogy is, you know, if you're going for a normal RFP process and there's a public opening of bids and the committee looks at the bids, the committee generally doesn't take public comment. The committee is evaluating and then gonna make a recommendation to the commission for public comments. Another analogy is an interview process. If the commission is interviewing for whatever position, you know, or a committee's interviewing, again, the public doesn't usually participate in the interview process. They will have a chance to participate when it comes to the commission level. So it's not unusual at all what the ITN committee is doing. Again, I use other analogies where normally you're gonna open bids, a committee's gonna look at the bids and rank the bids, and the committee meeting is open, but I can't think of times when public participates in the normal opening of bid committee ranking process. I understand there's a high level of interest, but, again, I have the same understanding that the commission was gonna now be the forum for that public comment and public participation after the committee's made whatever recommendation they're gonna make.
And I hear you, and I agree that it would not be typical for anybody to come to, you know, opening bids on should they be F gutters or H gutters or whatever it is, and who's gonna build them. This one is, as you mentioned, something that definitely is very much in the public eye and something that people have been interested in for a long time. My only thinking, with due respect to Commissioner Amoroso, that yes, it might potentially be late, but asking people to come out twice, and, you know, nobody's asking people to come to the ITN, but I think realistically, given the level of interest, I think we can reasonably expect that there will be a fair number of folks. And I think in the interest of showing our responsiveness to that, let's find a way to let people voice their concerns.
Vice Mayor?
I wasn't done with my comments,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that just kind of popped up. So do we have, okay, I've made a formal request to add some sort of meeting, town hall or whatever, to the calendar for right after the ITN.
Do you have a question on that, Vice Mayor?
Well, I just want to, I think, echo what I've heard 2 or 3 times here this evening, and that is we've already made provisions for folks to come out and voice their opinion. And I'm really confused and a little bit concerned here that as this process unveils, and this is a process, I believe we're going to hear on the 28th is not the end of the process. We keep modifying the process and throwing more hurdles in the process. And I don't think that's how the ITN program or process is supposed to work. And I agree with you that this is a more sensitive issue than whether or not you have, what you call them, F gutters or H gutters. I get that, but there is a process, and the process does allow for public comment and public input. And we've gone beyond that, and we've added another workshop for public input and public comment. Now, I guess the real question here is, how many in this room believe we're gonna sell the beach? Raise your hand. 4 people, 5 people, 6?
Not the beach, not the sign, but the area above the beach.
Okay. How many people think we're gonna privatize the beach to where you don't have access to it?
Point of order.
We're not gonna, point of order, point of order.
I have a
Point of order, make your point, but we're not gonna go back and forth with the audience, that's not the way it works, thank you.
Well, look, if we're gonna change the rules or the process for the ITN and modify that, I think that we should have flexibility on how we modify that process and how we make that decision to modify the process. The issue here is, it's been clearly stated, it's on the books, we cannot sell any part of that 19 acres of land across A1A. We cannot sell it.
But you can rent it for
So,
99.
quiet in the chambers, please, so you'll be asked to leave. Quiet in the chambers, please. Quiet in the
We
chambers.
cannot sell it, and to the comment that was made about renting it for 99 years, we cannot rent it for 99 years. Those are absolute falsehoods. They are not true, they are not factual. Those comments have been going on out there now since
Point of
election.
order.
Quiet. He's making a comment, there's no, quiet in the chambers, please, you'll be asked to leave. Vice Mayor, you have the floor.
This comes down to, what do you want to believe? Do you want to believe the laws that we have on the books that say we cannot sell the beach, we cannot do anything on that 19 acres? Do you want to believe that, or you don't want to believe it?
Just,
So if you choose to believe that we're going to sell it, then having a workshop, 2 workshops, 10 workshops is not going to convince you that we're not going to sell it. Okay, that's my point. Now, I've asked both Commissioner McVoy and Mayor in the past how they feel to point to where we can sell this beach. And both of them have publicly stated that we can't sell the beach. Both of them have publicly stated that we cannot sell the beach and we cannot privatize the beach. So why we're having this conversation is beyond me. And why we're trying to drag this, take this train, this boat in a different direction is just mind-boggling to me. We are talking about a proposal here that is going to address the casino building and trying to reduce the losses that we're taking on the beachfront. Losses that we were not expected to take, but we were told we wouldn't have to take if we built that new casino building. We are not speaking to the sand, we're not speaking to excluding anybody, and anything that we would do on that beach, whether it's, I don't know what it would be. I haven't even seen the proposals. I don't even know what the components of the deal are, which is why I don't understand why everybody's all upset. You know, in fact, I'm not gonna look at it until the final proposal is brought to the commission.
Lay on point.
quiet in the chambers,
You know
please.
what?
Quiet in the
Madam
chambers,
Mayor.
please.
I would like an opportunity to speak without people barging in here. Folks can believe what they want to believe, and you're entitled to believe what you want to believe. What I understand and what I believe are the facts. The charter says we can't sell it, our laws and ordinances say we can't sell it, and we can't privatize it. Whether we sell surfboards, if somebody private comes in there and sells surfboards, or somebody wants to put a conference center in there, or somebody wants to do whatever we agree on, is no different than what's up there now. We have all private businesses in there now. Mulligan's is a private business, the T-shirt shop is a private business, Mamma Mia's is a private business. Every single shop up there is a private business. So if we go and give it to another entity to put in a private business, what is different about that than what already currently exists? They are going to pay us a certain dollar value for the use of space, not on the beach, but in an area that we've already designated that is acceptable to be used. No, I don't know why we're going down.
Quiet in the chambers, please.
I'm over this. I'm absolutely over this stuff. We need clarity. We need some closure on the issue as to whether we're selling that beach or privatizing it, because we absolutely cannot, we absolutely will not, and I will not vote for it or suggest that we go down that path. And I'm tired of trying to defend that position every time we walk into this room.
And I'm also going to remind everyone, we're on commissioners' comments and liaison reports, please. All right, enough, we're going to move on. Commissioner McBoy, you had the floor before this, and you had other items to address in reference to your liaison report.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I will get to those. However,
We are,
no, Madam Mayor, you let my colleagues speak for at quite some length, which
and
is
you as well,
appropriate.
go ahead.
I think, I did not raise any issues about selling, privatizing, anything like that. I simply said that it is my understanding, to which I believe is correct, that there's a lot of interest in this community with what happens in this process and the location at the beach. It is my feeling that if you're going to have a meeting that is likely to have a lot of people from the public at it, that we might want to find some way, put our thinking caps on, find some way at that time when those people are gathered together to take their comments. I don't have any preconceived ideas of what that way is, and if two people show up, then they can say, write on a piece of paper and leave them for us, that's good enough. But if you have a reasonable group of people, I think it would be an appropriate thing to honor our listening to the citizens to find a way to do that. I don't think that's too complicated. And it can be separate from the ITN process, and if somebody feels like it's too late at 9 o'clock, they can go home. And they'll have an opportunity at another time, but I suspect a lot of people will be there, and I think it would be wise to make a provision to them. I don't know whether my colleagues think that's a good idea. I'm not hearing a lot of support for the idea over here, but perhaps some other folks do have some ideas.
I find it ironic that this is creating a divisive issue in the middle of a meeting when we already discussed this last time, and we arranged, because of your concerns, to have a special meeting in which public input would be had. We extended the speaking time and opened it up